A lot of reels these days are packed with crazy animations, effects, and motion design, yet there still is this one style that really stands out. I call it the aesthetic style, and in this video I'm breaking down how to achieve it from scratch. It will be a full masterclass where we'll be recreating my latest reel. So, all the assets are in the description, go ahead and download them and let's get started. The aesthetic style comes down to 4 things: storytelling, text design, visual effects, and sound design. Let's start with the first and most important one, which is storytelling. Before we even touch editing, you need a great story to begin with, because without it, the rest of the tutorial is pointless. With this style, we need a hook, curiosity building through the middle, and a payoff at the end. And this whole thing must happen in like 10 to 30 seconds ideally. Everything else in this masterclass, the text, the effects, the music, is just there to support a story that already works on its own. At first, we need to set up our timeline, and in order to do this, just right click in your media pool, go to timelines, create new timeline. Here type some name if you want. And I will uncheck use project settings, go to format, and remember to check use vertical resolution. I'll also use timeline frame rate 30 FPS because that's the frame rate of my clips. And now click create. I won't do this because I already have a timeline that is kind of my preset, and it creates every time I just create a new project. If you want a tutorial on this, just write it in the comments, because I already have all the tracks set up and also things in media pool are already organized. But that's completely optional, you don't need all of that. As my A-roll, I will be using the Neel Podcast clip with Alex Hormozy, but of course it can be pretty much everything. It can be video recorded by you or client you're working for. So if you want to follow what I'm doing, just go to the link down below, download the assets, and we will use this clip. Drag it into your media pool, and right now just basically drop it onto your timeline. Okay, and now it's time for cleaning the footage, so making cuts and everything. You can do it with this razor tool here, but I have all the keyboard shortcuts set up, so I can just basically go here, click Q and remove that excessive part. I can go here, remove the silences, as simple as that. If you want a tutorial also on how to clean the footage really fast, you can also write it down in the comments. But for now, if you don't have it, just use the razor tool or find some other tutorials on YouTube on that. And what we're doing here is basically we're just removing all the silences like these, and also we're removing stutters, or like if someone repeats himself, we will also remove this to make it feel engaging and clean. Okay, and basically also this part right here is like a video gamer analogy that I don't really want to include in my story. Like, it's really nice, but for the reel that I'm going for is just like excessive, so I will delete it. That's also the part of cleaning footage and making reels. Basically, it's all about storytelling. You need a really great story to begin with, and only then you'll be able to make the animations, sound design, and everything else. Because my footage is actually a screen recording on MacBook also, and the clip is from YouTube, we have these like black bars right here. So we need to fix it. So just basically select the clip, zoom in a little bit, and I will also change the Y position. Okay, here we have it. It's centered and cropped. It looks good. But as you can see, if we drag to some other part, it didn't change here because we only changed it for this clip. So I will show you a cool trick to implement it to every clip that you have here. Basically select this clip, Command or Control C. Now select all the footage that you want to apply it on. In our case, it's all of those clips, and right now we can like select it manually like so. But for example, if the timeline is bigger, if it's like 1 hour or something, it would be a mess to just like scroll and manually select it like so. So if you want to select just everything like on the right side of your playhead, you can just click Option Y. That will select everything that is on the right side. And now just click Option or Alt V, and the window to paste attributes will pop on your screen. Here you can choose everything that you want to apply, and in my case it's the zoom, which is scale X and scale Y, and also the position. Let's click apply, and as you can see, basically for every other clip it applies the same way. So It's really cool. Oh yeah, and I also didn't mention this, but on my viewer we have these like yellow lines and also these white lines here. If you want to know how to make these are basically like guidelines. The tutorial will pop on the top right side of the screen, so you can check it out. It's really helpful if you want to align stuff, and it will be really helpful once we will be making text effect. Okay, another thing in the storytelling category will be making J-cuts. That's basically something that will make some of the cuts more engaging and basically the whole video more engaging. A J-cut is a cut that introduces the audio first and then comes the video. And I will show you the coolest and quickest technique to actually make something like this. So I'll make it on this clip. What we need to do right now, hold Option or Alt and select only the audio track. Now, holding the Option, click arrow down, that will move the audio to track that is underneath, and now we can freely overlap it. We do it by holding Option and trimming some part of the video, just like so. For example, in my case 5 frames, but don't go too far up because it needs to be subtle, and we end up with something like this. So the audio came before the video started, and it also overlapped with the audio from previous clip. It's a really cool effect, but don't overuse it. Don't use it on every clip you have, but let's say if we have 20-second reel, I will use it like maybe 3 or 4 times, something like this, during the whole thing. Okay, and the last part of the storytelling category is B-roll. One thing that you need to know is that B-roll doesn't kind of replace the story, it supports it. I'm telling you this because we need to find B-roll that will support the emotions that are being thrown, let's say, at the viewer. So if someone is talking about anger, we'll throw the scene that shows character going through anger. The same with like money. If someone is talking about making money, we'll also find a clip where someone is talking about money. And if you're following along, I included 4 video clips that I will use for my video right here, and they are basically movie clips, but you can also use some like stock footage. I just think that for this style, movie clips are something that really works well. And basically here you can see my original timeline. I just basically I scrubbed through my whole video, and I just found 4 moments that I thought it may be cool to support the story with B-roll, to keep it more engaging and also to, you know, show the exact emotion that is being talked about. And I marked every single one with a marker. How you can do this is basically just where the playhead is, click M on your keyboard, and if you didn't know, you can actually split markers by holding Option. So I just did it like so, and now you know that here you wanted to add some B-roll. So yeah, these are basically just like screen recordings from YouTube. How you can find these is actually really simple. Of course, you need to have some kind of idea of what movie clips you want to use, so you need to probably know some movies. But in order to like find these clips, basically go to YouTube, type in the movie name, and after it add scene pack. For example, here I typed in Interstellar scene pack, and I got this like video on YouTube with like beautiful scenes from Interstellar. And I was looking forward to find something where someone talks about time, because right here in my clip Jack is also talking about wasting time, so I wanted to emphasize that, and I found this clip with a watch. Then I just screen recorded it, and now I will bring it to my timeline. But one more thing I need to show you is actually this really cool and simple trick to import only certain part of your video from media pool to your timeline, because normally you would just like import the whole video, then you need to like make a readjustment, trim it from here, maybe make some like cuts in the middle or something. But you can actually do it in media pool by just like scrubbing through the whole footage here, placing your playhead where you want it to start. Now press I on your keyboard, and then where you want it to end, let's say here, and press O. And now just normally bring it to your timeline, and here you have only this certain part of clip that we wanted. But also one more little interesting thing is how you can bring only video or only audio from your media pool, because as you can see right now, if we bring it in, it brings the audio and the video, and normally we would just have to like go here, unlink this clip, select only audio, delete this. But we can do it actually in a much simple way. Basically, if you want only video, hold Option and drag the footage onto your timeline. Here we have only video. And if we want only audio, hold Shift and drag it also on your timeline. We have only the audio. In this case, we of course want the video. Here the thing is too long, so I will just trim it. And here we have our story supported with B-roll. Oh, and of course we need to repeat the process. Basically, because it's screen recorded on pretty much the same machine, we can just copy attributes from here, Control or Command C, go here, Alt or Option V, and paste the position and scale, click apply. Basically we need to get rid of these edges from screen recording, so yeah, or you can just manually readjust it in the inspector if you need. Okay, and now just basically repeat the process throughout the rest of your video. Now I will also explain the choices I made. Here he's talking about time, so I just put this clip here. Here Alex is talking about the plaque on his wall, so I also like search for a clip that someone is writing something, maybe not exactly on the wall, but I think it still works. Here he's talking about like consistency, so I just used the Whiplash clip. Alex is talking about money, so I just threw the Wolf of Wall Street clip, Leonardo DiCaprio. So that's my process. Text in this style is not subtitle, it's a design element, and placement is everything. Think of it like a magazine layout. Different fonts, different sizes, different weights, all placed intentionally to fit in the environment to create something that looks good just to look at. And you need two fonts, a clean sans serif for your main captions. I'll use Poppins in regular, bold and italic, and one artistic accent font for words you want to emphasize. I'll use Alex Brush. Here are some other example fonts you can use. For animations, pick few and stick to them because consistency is what makes it feel premium and not chaotic. Simple ones for most text, like fade and slide, and something more expressive for some other word, like for example letter by letter animation. I'll be using these for most text and these for the rest I want to emphasize. What I will do first, I will just drag this line to have more video tracks visible, because for this we will actually need a lot of them because we're going to do everything on the edit page. So I will just add some more tracks, and I will also disable these so I don't accidentally like move them around when I will be dragging some text. And one more thing, for all the animations I will be using the animated text pack, which is like a really cool pack made by my friend Victor. You can check it out, link will be in the description. With code Tony10 you get 10% off your whole order. He also have some other really cool packs for DaVinci Resolve editors. They're like insane value for the price that you're paying. I definitely recommend it, but I will also show you how you can recreate some of these. Okay, and basically whole process goes like this. I just like find the animation that I want. We were working on 30 FPS timeline, so I'm going to go with this. And for example, I'm just going to go with this slide up blur animation. I just drag it onto my timeline, trim the thing so it shows only here, and I just type the first word that he's saying. He's saying, what's the one thing people waste? So I'm also going to type in watts, change the font to Poppins as we agreed earlier, and here to regular. Now I will size it up a little bit, decrease the tracking because that's how I like it. And now for, as I said, the biggest part, which is aligning of everything. We can do it of course by just dragging these handles here. And if you are creating things without the Neo pack with just normal text plus, you have it here under the layout section, but you can actually do it much faster by just basically going to this little icon on your viewer, click it, and now that's the part where actually our guidelines will be really helpful. You can basically just drag the whole thing around your screen and it changes its position. It's really cool. Okay, and now the process goes like basically we have to create every word or every line that he says on screen as like a separate layer. So to do this, hold Option, drag this text up to duplicate it, and now we need to kind of see where he's saying the second thing that we want to place as separate text. So in my case it will be one thing. Here I will adjust like the size, decrease it a little bit, place it underneath like so, and maybe let's actually change it to bold because why not? In this style you need to be really creative and, as I said, play with the fonts, the sizing, the tracking. Yeah, and here at the end just don't forget to trim it like so. To also help you with adjusting the beginning of text animations, you can use waveforms that you have here. The new word will be actually like a peak on the waveform, because normally as humans, as we start saying the word, it gets louder. So it can help you slightly with the whole process. Okay, and the whole thing looks actually like this. As you can see, I used everywhere the same animation, so it's consistent how we wanted it to be. I just played with like the sizing, the types of font, and here at the end I actually used our artistic font, which is Alex Brush. I made it like slightly bigger. We have a cool scene that looks like this. Also, one more thing, you can see that basically here the text is white, but here it has this kind of like a brighten effect. That's also something that you quite usually see in the styles of the reels like these. And how I made it is basically just head over to settings, and here under the composite, change the composite mode from normal to overlay, and it will create this kind of brighten effect. One more effect here that you can see on the original reel is actually this kind of text behind the subject in certain places. I will also show you how you can create this. So I will just unlock the track with our A-roll, and we will make this effect by masking the subject during the whole clip, and it's called rotoscoping. So just hold Option and drag the video clip above everything else. Our text disappeared, but don't worry about this. Now to do this, go to color page. It actually won't have anything to do with the color, but it's the easiest to do on the free version in the color page. If you have studio version, you can of course use Magic Mask, but here just remember to select the track that we actually want. Now this will be probably your default look, and let's just go to this category with all the masks. Now select the pen tool and you need to draw out your subject. Of course, the more careful you are, the better the outcome will be. But to be honest, for this thing, you actually need to only worry about the part where your text will be. So here will be our text. So here you also need to be the most careful about how you draw this. And the rest you can just basically do it something like this. Now connect it to the last dot, of course, to close the mask. And now let's go to the tab that is next to it, that's called Tracker, and let's hit this button to track forward and reverse. That will basically track it throughout the whole clip. Okay, and now as you can see, if we scrub through our footage, the mask moves with our subject. You can of course readjust it a little bit later if you want. And now finally just basically go to the nodes section here, right click, add alpha output. It will create this blue dot output right here. And now drag the blue input from the mask that you made to the blue output here. And as you can see, it already made our text visible right here. And we have our text behind subject effect. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. You just need to repeat this process with placing the text on pretty much every frame. As you can see on the original clip here, I have like a bunch of these kind of text piles. And here, for example, I have my slide up plus blur effect. Here I have just like normal text plus appearing on screen without any animation. Here I have the Neo engine, also from the same pack. It's here, and it's this really like nice text plugin. It's all in one. You can just basically type something here and choose animation you want. Also, then you can choose the effects you want. You can make it glow. You can give it an outline, shine, literally like anything you want. You can check it out. The link will be in the description. But I used it mainly for the purpose of the money animation. And as you can see here, the animation is this kind of like erode effect. That's also something that you can find in this text engine, which is really cool effect. Then later I also like combined some styles. Here slide up blur, here normal text without animation, and here I have my like kind of different animation, which is this letter by letter. Right here I also did the inverted text effect, which is also really simple to make. Just basically select the layer you want it on and go to settings tab. Instead of overlay like we did before, you just choose composite mode, you set it to difference, and that will basically create a difference from how your background looks. This only works good on like background that has some textures and something going on, because as you can see here, if I put it on, for example, plain background, it just like inverts the color, but it doesn't look really cool. But here, as I have it on his shirt, also here on the background, here on his beard, that one looks really cool. Now here, for example, it's just like simple slide up plus fade animation, also from the same pack. Here the letter by letter animation with the overlay effect. But in this segment, for example, I did something else. Instead of like making a pile of text, I just made it like word by word, and basically only one word appears on the screen at the time in this segment, which is also something that you can do to create some kind of like breathing room for the viewer. The same thing I also did here. Yo, quick editor's note here. Even though in my video I have subtitles or captions for every scene, you actually don't need them always. The video will work on its own, plus it will give some breathing room for the viewers. So just remember that you don't have to always have captions or subtitles like me. And the rest are basically just these piles of text combining different animations, different composite modes of text, different fonts, as you can see here. And everything is just like creatively placed on screen to fit in the environment. Yeah, and I actually promised you to show how you can make some text animations if you don't want to buy this pack. At first, I already have the tutorial for slide in plus fade on my channel. The link will be in the top right section right now as I'm saying this. And also I have the tutorial on bounce letter by letter effect. So now I'm just going to quickly show you how you can do text, slide, fade and blur effect. Yeah, so of course, drag the text plus onto your timeline and go to Fusion page. Now, because it's actually going to be a full text animation, we don't have to play with like modifiers, tabs and things like this. We can just basically make it by adding another node. So at first, let's add a slide. This one we will do actually in the layout tab. Keyframe the center position on frame 0. Go for example to frame 20. Drag the Y position down just a bit. Now let's do the fade in. So just add a brightness and contrast node. You can also find it here. Check the alpha box right here. Keyframe gain on the same frames, and on the frame 0 just drag it down like so. Oh, and I actually messed up the thing because I made the positions differently. Of course, on frame 20 you need to set your desired position, and on frame 0 you need to drag it down just like so. And the last thing is blur. So just shift space, add a blur node. You can also find it here. And on frame 0 keyframe it, drag it up a little bit. On frame 20 drag it down to 0. Now select all of these nodes, go to the spline tab, select everything, Ctrl A, F or S on your keyboard, right click, ease out cubic. That will create this cool animation, which is text blur, fade and slide. You can also of course like play with the handles. For example, for the displacement we can make it faster at the beginning, let's say, just like so. That will make it maybe cooler. You can also play with blur, maybe decrease it somehow here, just like so, and it creates our effect. But if you don't want to do all of this, you can just basically check out the pack. The link will be in the description. And to remind you, with my code Tony10 you get 10% off your whole order. Yeah, and once again I'm actually going to repeat myself, but I'm not going to show you every single one of these. It's basically the same process with like kind of thinking how you can fit the text into the environment and playing with it, playing with different styles, different fonts, different sizes, fitting it as it was a kind of like a puzzle. Here the same thing. So for my every scene is the exact same thing. In the assets folder in the description I will include the whole ready video, so if you want to do it exactly as me, you can just basically have it as a reference point and make the animations exactly as I did. Visual effects in this style have one job: to add energy without adding distractions. Two things do that: movement and atmosphere. Movement means zooms, subtle ones that push into a key moment or pull back after it lands. But remember to not put them on every clip, because it's not the main thing of this style. Atmosphere means color and some slight effects like vignette, for example. Slightly darker, slightly more cinematic. That's it. If an effect isn't doing one of those two things, it doesn't belong here. Okay, so for these I'm also actually going to use the effects from pack made by my friend Victor, but it's called Motion Essentials pack. And yeah, in the original, as you can see, I used basically these effects, the Neo Zoom Pro, to make like zooms like these. And like these, the gradual zoom, for example, here also some more aggressive zooms, the zoom out effect, but I'm going to show you how you can do it for free. So I will add another track to actually have it on top of everything. And now from the effects tab, just add the adjustment clip, and we will recreate at first the aggressive opening zoom as we had here. So just drag it on the beginning like so. Let's go to the Fusion page, shift space and search for transform node, but let's not add the XF, let's actually add this transform. Okay, and now to make this effect, just basically keyframe the zoom on the beginning, zoom it out a little bit, and at the end, let's just make the zoom value to 1 to make it normal. But as you can see, we have this basically effect that the background is transparent, and normally we had something here. What I did originally is I went to advanced options and changed the edge behavior from transparent to reflect. As you can see, we already have something on our screen, but to make it like basically better, just go to animation and increase motion blur. That way it won't be basically visible and the effect will be just cool. Okay, and now to smoothen it out, because right now it's like a gradual zoom, go to spline tab, select it, select all the handles and grab this one like so it's aggressive at the beginning, and holding option, drag this one also somewhere here. That will make it aggressive at the beginning and slow at the end. And the same animation is actually at the end, so just basically holding option, drag it at the end like so. But of course we need to reverse it, because right now it's here and that's not the point. So just go to Fusion page, open the spline, select all of this, and now click this little icon to reverse the animation. And that will basically make the same effect, but just like slower at the start and faster at the end, which is what we wanted. But the animation actually stops right here and it looks kinda weird because we don't have motion blur on the last frame. So to change it, just basically select the last frame and holding Alt, just drag it one frame past where the video ends. And here we have our zoom out animation. And also for the zooms in the middle, basically just grab an adjustment clip. You don't even have to go to the Fusion page. You can just basically use, for example, these controls. So you can like keyframe it at the beginning. If you want the zoom in effect, set the last keyframe at the end here, something like that. We already have the effect, but it's gradual. So to make it like more engaging, you can go to keyframes tab, and here you have your zoom controls. You can just go here. Now select both of these. Here click, for example, ease in and out. This will give you those two handles, and you can just play with these how you want the zoom to look. This will basically go slower at the start, faster in the middle, and slower at the end.
Does it actually make them one?
Yeah, and you can do it just like so, or you can just do it much simpler way. Grab the adjustment clip and grab the Neo Zoom Pro, add it on top of your adjustment clip. Here you have the start zoom, the end zoom, so let's make it like 0.1 for example. And now let's basically uncheck also the out animation.
That doesn't actually make them.
And that's literally the whole thing, the whole animation. We did it in like few seconds literally. Yeah, and just repeat the process throughout the whole video, but as I said before, don't overuse it because that's absolutely unnecessary. So that's for the zooms part. And right now for this kind of like color correction and everything. At first what I did on the original, as you can see, the colors are kind of different. Here it's this like normal as I had this on YouTube, and here is this kind of like his face is brighter, the background is kind of darker. And how I did this is basically just in color page. I will show you, for example, this one with Alex Hormozy. Here on the first node I actually increased the temperature a bit, the details. Here decreased the gain, decrease the lift slightly. That created this kind of darkened cinematic effect. And I increased the brightness on just his face. I used the ellipse mask, applied it onto his face, and changed the gain, increased it a little bit, and that created this kind of like face highlight effect. Then I just basically copied it and pasted to all the other clips. And yeah, so that's it when it comes to the color thing. But I also did the vignette, as you can see. That's basically this adjustment clip. So let's quickly recreate this, add another track, adjustment clip, drag it for the whole duration. And now I did it on Fusion page. You can of course do it here from the effects tab, but I will just quickly show you how to do it here. Shift space, search for vignette. I changed the mode to advanced and played with all the settings a little bit. So I probably made it somehow like this, I guess. And of course, change the color. Right now I don't have it here. That's also something I did. And of course, you don't have to add this vignette. If it looks good for you without it, you can go like this. And you can also apply some other effects like soft glow, for example. And of course, change the settings a little bit. You can, for example, apply also a zoom blur and add a center exclusion to get this kind of like edges dissolve, let's say, effect. So yeah, there's a bunch of effects that you can add, but because it's a cinematic and this kind of minimalistic style of editing, please just don't overuse it, and the simpler the effects in this style, the better the output is. Sound design is what makes the edit feel alive. For this style, 5 things work really well: camera shutters, typewriter clicks, clicks in general, like a mouse click for example, whooshes, and risers with impacts for building the emotion. You can download them for free from sites like Pixabay or Mixkit, or Instagram videos with a CTA like Comment SFX to get these sent to your DM. The rule here is really simple. If you notice the sound effect, it's too loud or doesn't fit there. It should feel like it's a part of the whole thing, not something on its own. And finally, the music. It sits underneath everything. Just choose the one you like and that fits the vibe. Now the last part, sound design. Really important thing to just sell the whole video. Right here I will just lock all the other tracks that I have for something else, and I will leave only tracks for my sound effects. If you don't have them, you can just basically right click, add a track and add mono track, for example. Now as you can see, I have 4 tracks for my sound effects and I just simply design it. What I do with those effects that I recommended you, so camera shutters, clicks, these effects specifically, as you can see here on the original, I have the camera shutters, and this is basically for all the text appearing on screen. So as you can hear right now,
what's the one thing people waste?
I have 1 click for every line appearing on my screen. Plus right here at the beginning I also used whoosh because we have this zoom in at the beginning. Here I also used the metallic hit to add some kind of like curiosity, time ticking, because that's something that I had on my b-roll, so I just thought it was cool to add something like this. Here the riser to build some emotions, the money sound effect because Jack actually talks about money here, so another clicking sound effects because the text appears on screen. But as you can see, I'm not doing it on literally every scene because I had it in here on my first scene, then 2 scenes were without this clicks effect, and now I have it on the 4th scene. Also every time Alex this time says something, it appears. Right here another sound effect which is slice, just because, you know, I had nothing in there and I just thought it was like cool to add something like this. Here only 2 camera shutters to emphasize the thing, and also the whoosh because we have the zoom in. For this scene I also did the clicking sound effect right here as well, the click, and here the money sound effect, and at the end because he's talking about that everything else is just noise, I just added like people talking in restaurant and I keyframed a little bit so it's getting louder. And also a small whoosh at the end because we have the zoom out animation. Yeah, so by now your timeline should look something like this. You should have all the sound effects, you should have all the texts, nice visual effects and nice story. But right now the last thing that is actually left is to add some music. I added this kind of like viral music from Instagram. Nothing special, I just thought it was really cool. One tip that I have for you is to not like use some corporate music or music that people use for like tutorials, because we actually got the cinematic edit, so we need to also add some cinematic music. Don't also fall for the another spectrum and don't make the music too much cinematic and like really dramatic and everything, but just like basically download bunch of different viral songs from Instagram or TikTok and just see for yourself what works for the video. If the music has some kind of like drops and raises and everything, you can also like use them for your advantage and basically cut the music. So for example here, if Jack is like ending his question and Alex is responding to that, that's the kind of thing that you want to emphasize. You will place a music drop right here. And you can also of course play with the volume, for example. So at the start it should be like louder, then if you have some line that you want to emphasize, you turn down the music. You just basically keyframe it like so, keyframe it like so here and also here, for example. And in these 2 points you just basically like turn it down, and you have this like dip in the volume of your music if you want to emphasize some part of it, for example. And yeah, basically that's it. If you followed all the steps, you should end up with something like this. You can implement it for literally like any reel you want, any video you want. Either you're creating something for your client, for yourself, or just like some kind of motivational reel for Instagram, as in my case, for example. You should right now have like a really good understanding of what is going on inside of video editor brain while making this style of reels. If this gave you value, please subscribe, because tutorials like these are really time consuming. That was also the first tutorial like that, breaking down something. I wasn't making anything from scratch. This was like a more breakdown of the style. So if you have some feedback on how I can improve those videos, or either I should make like literally everything from scratch with you, that will be really beneficial. So just drop your opinions in the comments. Let me know if you want more tutorials like these, and also let me know if you want tutorials on project templates and on cutting the footage faster, because these were the things that I asked you at the beginning. So yeah, drop the feedback in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.